Next up, we are joined by Mark Maloney, the Executive Director of Tulla Resources with the ticker code TUL. To tell us more about the Norseman Gold Project in WA, I will hand you over to Mark. Good afternoon, Mark.
Hey, Jane, how are you?
Well, thank you. I'll let you jump into your presentation.
Thanks, everyone, for your time. We're Tulla Resources. The focus of our business at the moment is the Norseman project in Western Australia, just near Kalgoorlie. We've been actively working on our gold project there for a number of years now, more recently since May 2019 with our operating joint venture partner, Pantoro. So the main focus over the last couple of years has been to strategically set up the asset for success by investing a lot of money in the ground and making sure that it has the reserves and life of mine ahead of it. So we believe that we've delivered on that. We had a phase one DFS out a couple of years ago, which people would remember, and we kicked off with around 600,000 ounces in reserves and a 6-7 year mine life. In the period since then, and including an announcement this week, we've now taken those reserves up to just over 900,000, and we will be extending the life of mine on the back of that. So we believe that with all the money that's been put in the ground, that the asset for the first time in a long while has been set up for real success. Alongside of that, whilst Norseman, one of the major attractions of the project was that it had a huge amount of existing infrastructure in place. We did make the decision that we wanted to build a new plant, and we're about, I'd say, roughly 75% of the way through that, with first gold scheduled in August. Beauty of that construction is that we now have all materials on ground, so not any real cost exposure from here or logistics hold up exposure from here. And GR Engineering are doing that construction, doing a great job, and we believe it will be relatively smooth sailing through to first gold in August, which we're obviously excited about. Alongside that, we've essentially awarded the mining contracts, both underground and open pit. Underground to West Oz Mining, open pit to Hamptons, both we believe exceptional operators, and at a price that we think is very competitive in the current environment, and not too dissimilar to what we had in the original DFS. So those guys are mobilizing as we speak, and we expect to commence mining next month. Outside of the gold, we've got some pretty exciting projects emerging in lithium, nickel, and iron ore. Lots of activity happening there, which we believe will be adding value, and we can talk about that as we get into the presentation. Just a bit of an overview from us from a corporate point of view. We do have a relatively strong balance sheet, cash at bank, no debt, and we also own just over 6% of our joint venture partner Pantoro, which has a value of roughly $30 million sitting on our balance sheet as well. We've worked hard over the last 12 months since we IPO'd to stabilize our share register. We believe we have a pretty solid shareholder base now that we're proud of. A couple of significant overseas resource funds sitting on our share register, some strong local domestic institutions, a fair presence from mining family office money, and an emerging strong retail shareholder base as well. Just focusing on some key highlights. We've assembled a very experienced board and management team. We have some reasonably big names in global mining on the board, ex-heads of BHP's base metals division, ex-head of Xstrata's business development division. Lots of skill in overseeing joint ventures, bringing assets into production, and good access to global deal flow, which will be important to us as we grow this business. We believe we have a well-defined growth strategy. We have been very focused on making sure the gold is set up for success and continuing to build out the life of mine. And we're also very focused on exploiting those other mineral opportunities there at Norseman. One thing people also like about Norseman is it has a huge amount of exploration upside, and we'll touch on that briefly. And we've talked about the balance sheet, which is in very strong shape. So this is an overview of the Norseman land holding or project. You can see a fairly extensive area with multiple opportunities, about 70 kilometres of strike there. We've chosen to kick off with some key mining centres, mainly kicking off around that area to the bottom of the screen, Scotia, which adjoins Green Lantern. And also the OK area, which is closer to the main field. But as I said, lots of quality infrastructure already in place, and huge land endowment with lots of exploration upside. We this week announced a major upgrade for the Scotia area. We've been doing a lot of work in the deeps there, and we announced another 184,000 ounces, which is significant. And the thing to know is that there is still a lot that remains open there. So this Scotia will become a mine camp in its own right, and it will adjoin an area there called Green Lantern, which will be part of the startup plan as well. And we believe developing into one super pit, which we're very excited about. We also announced some minor upgrades in the main fields area. The focus of our drilling recently has been in that Scotia and Green Lantern area, but we will be moving into the main fields area to build that out further as we come off Scotia and Green Lantern. And the thing to note about the main field is it has yielded about 50% of the ounces that have come out of Norseman through its history. But based on the work we've done and the data we've seen, we believe there's a lot more to come from that area. So moving into lithium, which we're very excited about, it's worth pointing out that Liontown's Anna deposit, which I believe analysts value anywhere from $400 to $500 million, we believe that runs right across the border into our Baldania deposit. So that has us quite excited. We did some chip sampling, which turned up some pretty interesting results. And over the years, we had lots of interest in that lithium and a lot of approaches. And we decided with our joint venture partner Pantoro to run a process towards the end of last year to find the right partner to move forward with. For us, Mineral Resources stood out as the best partner to move forward with. Firstly, given their expertise in the lithium space in Western Australia, it's hard to find a better partner with that expertise. Secondly, the commercials were a standout for us, giving us free carry all the way through to first production. And then lastly, working on a relatively tight time frame of getting there within 3 years. So I believe the mineral resources guys are as equally excited as us. They have been drilling and almost complete their first program, and we're hoping to see some good results from that at the end of April, early May. But we believe there's a lot of upside to come out of the lithium project. In regards to the iron ore, we've been excited about that for a long time as well, based on the data that we had seen and some initial work. Essentially, there's about 20 kilometers of strike there. Interesting widths, anywhere from 15 up to 250 meters. And Davis tube testing has shown magnetite at good commercial grades. The other thing that is of benefit to us is you've got the rail that runs right through the site, and you've got the deep water port at Esperance already shipping iron ore. So we believe from an iron ore perspective, it's well set up for success. We have signed a offtake and funding arrangement with a group called Koch Metals, who have some deep experience in the iron ore space. At the moment, that deal is non-binding. It's predicated on them getting away their LSE listing in June this year. They have done some pre-IPO funding, which has been successful, and the prospects for their listing in June are looking quite good as well. So we're excited about pushing forward with that project and believe that it will add a lot of value to shareholders too. Lastly, nickel is a strong area of interest for us. The area has always been known for nickel. There's lots of successful nickel neighbours around us. There is a huge amount of data on the nickel at Norseman. Western Mining and Nickel Australia spent a lot of money over the years drilling out for nickel. We've had our technical people pulling together that data over the last 6 months, and we have reason to believe that there are nickel sulfide deposits there of commercial significance that we believe we can exploit going forward. The other benefit is you've obviously got the Kambalda concentrator and the Kalgoorlie smelter, both by sealed highways, pretty close. So that's of benefit as well. The next steps for us here are to continue to round out the technical work we're doing on validating the data, and to then think about with our joint venture partner Pantoro how we commercialize that opportunity going forward. But that is a priority for us. So bringing it all together in our strategy, the focus is very much still number one on the gold, getting that cash generating from August this year, making sure we continue to extend the life of mine and grow out the production profile, which we believe we can easily do. I should mention that the plant we're building is 1 million tonnes per annum, but it is relatively easily expandable to 1.5 million tonnes per annum for minimal cost. So focus very much on making that gold a success, and Pantoro as the operating partners are 100% focused on that. Outside of that, with the lithium, iron ore and nickel, they are real opportunities that are now being commercialized. So very much a priority to make sure that the partners that have been brought in there are working with us to make that happen. We believe that should keep us pretty well occupied for the next 12 to 18 months. And then beyond that, we will start to look for opportunities outside of the Norseman area to round out our strategy as a diversified mining investment house. The last thing I'd point out is our valuation. You can see there versus our peers in the developer universe that we're trading very cheap or exceptionally cheap. Soon we're to move into the producer universe. None of this takes into account the lithium, iron ore, or nickel upside. The catalysts from here I see are more reserve upgrades on the gold side. We've indicated to the market that that will be the case in the near future. Commencement of production on the gold side, eventual upgrade of the mill, expansion of production. On the lithium side, we're hoping we'll have some good drill results out end of April, early May. On the iron ore side, Kosh getting their LSE listing away and that arrangement kicking off. And then on the nickel, information on the data and what's there, and a commercialization arrangement for that moving forward as well. So that's it, Jane. Back to you.
But in the meantime, you did actually answer most of the questions that had come through from investors. One that did come through that hasn't been answered is just with the drilling program over the lithium assets. We've obviously got those results coming out April, May. What's the next stages for that lithium project?
Well, I think, yeah, we'll see the results, and then we're assuming they will obviously be good, and then we'll do some more work to build that out and progress that, hopefully to a decision of building out the project and moving into production within 3 years.
Well, and just finally, what are you most excited about?
I think there's quite a lot to be excited about at Norseman, but I think near term is just getting back into first production of gold. I think that's going to be a huge kind of point for the business, getting that cash flowing, and getting the gold pouring again at Norseman will be will be very exciting.
Wonderful. I look forward to getting over there for the mine restart.
Great.
Well, thank you for that, Mark. We look forward to further updates.
Thanks, Jane. Bye.